Rev, I have to say that along the line, I actually wanted to leave, but I had to actually question whether Papa, the way I cast up a massive, because sometimes you want to act right, you want to do things well. If it has to do with the career, you want to make sure you are getting to the very top. You want to make sure you are learning it right.
He's on a turnaround. Whoa, turn around. Turning point, yeah. He's on a turnaround.
Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with the enterprise group MTN Ghana and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners Joy 99.7 FM Joy News Television and the Springboard channel on YouTube. You also can find us writing in the graphic group of newspapers. So, today we're having a conversation about management. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to see the famous Professor Henry Mainsberg. He was in Legon, and just the fact that we could see him was a big thing for us. He had written extensively about the 10 roles of the manager and clustered them into 3. The manager as an interpersonal person, the interpersonal roles, namely as a figurehead, as a leader, and as a liaison. The manager as playing informational roles, as a monitor, disseminator, and then a spokesperson. And then the third one is the one we are looking at today, the manager as a decision maker. I'm sure everyone can relate, making big decisions, small decisions, if I may add, medium-sized decisions. So in that role, the manager is an entrepreneur, a disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Everyone at some point, whether you are in HR, you are in finance, you are in operations, any role that you play, you will find yourself straddling these fields. To help us break down this conversation is someone I've known for years, and I deeply respect, the Registrar of Central University, the first female to hold that position, and the first alumna of the university to hold that role, my friend Lily Nutakor. Lily, welcome to Springboard.
Thank you very much, Reverend.
Your first time on the virtual university.
That's right. And it's good to be here.
Yeah, welcome. And we've transitioned from the physical to the virtual world, but we love
That's right.
We love what we do here.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a program I've followed for a while, and it's amazing to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I see this as an opportunity.
Thank you. How's the university doing?
We are doing well. We are growing. We are increasing our numbers. We are growing in our program. And I bring greetings from the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kwesi Dateba, and the Pro Vice Chancellor to you and the virtual university.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So, what gives you sleepless nights when you think about, having 9,000 students, thinking about everything that concerns them, faculty, infrastructure? Which part of the university gives you sleepless nights?
So the part of the university that gives me sleepless nights, do they have logistics in the classrooms? Are the projectors working? Very little things that can easily be overlooked. So those are the things that sometimes, if a majority of the time, gives me sleepless nights.
I did a study of these things, these touch points, and I found out that very often in the big strategy meetings, we look at all the big pillars that run the show, and some janitor somewhere, some customer service person somewhere is offending your key stakeholders and doesn't even know, and doesn't even care.
Exactly.
And some user is saying, is taking their phone and taking the picture and saying, how can central, and those things are coming big.
Exactly.
In the Bible, we talk about the little foxes that spoil the
The
vine.
little foxes.
Yeah. So
the
those are the
little
things that keep
foxes.
you.
So those are the things that keep me, awake at night. I just wake up and the first thing, I hope tomorrow I'm not hearing anything bad. I hope the roads, is it raining? How are the roads? The little things.
Let's talk about decision making as a whole. How big is it in the construct of the leader?
decision making is big in the construct of the leader, because whatever decision you make affects everybody from the top right to the very bottom. And so you realize that whatever decision you make can make the university or the institution stronger, or it can break the university or the institution you work for. What is happening is that as leaders, sometimes we make decisions, and just as you said, you're making the decision and you're thinking, oh, let's look at the big things. Let's look at what's happening at the boardroom, what's happening in the executive committee, and then forgetting that whatever decision you make trickles down. And so we must look at a broader spectrum that takes care of everybody or everything within the institution.
Very often in these conversations, the focus invariably tends to be on the founder, the entrepreneur, the one that is the face of the institution or the business, as it were. But experience and learning shows that beyond that person, there is a big faculty, there is a big management team, there is a big executive team. So if you focus on only one person, nothing can get built. Mm-hmm. So where can somebody who is not a founder demonstrate the entrepreneurial? Is intrapreneurship possible?
Absolutely, yes. Intrapreneurship is very possible. And in fact, that is what drives institutions, because it hinges on innovation, it hinges on strategy, it hinges on, in fact, the heartthrob of the institution is intrapreneurship. Because if you have people who treat the institution as theirs, you can be sure they can move the institution forward. So absolutely, we must look at intrapreneurship as the heartbeat of the institution, the tool that drives resilience, the tool that drives relevance, and the tool that drives, should I say, reward.
So resilience, reward, and relevance. I'm thinking of the 3 R's that Lily says are the pillars or the pivots of intrapreneurship. And each of them could actually be a whole topic.
That's
resilience, right. Reward, relevance. Lily, how do you get the sense of ownership to percolate downwards? It's assumed that it's not that difficult at the top to get people to feel that they own the thing. I mean, if you look at the executive committee, they are big people. I mean, anytime I see them at a graduation walking in, I'm saying any of these people can be chancellor or vice chancellor. Mm-hmm. But how do you get that ownership to run through to that head of faculty, to that person on the beat? How do you get it done?
Now, you give people the opportunity to own the processes, get people to innovate. And so if there is, let's say, a strategy we want to work with, you give people the opportunity to bring what is within them to the fore. An example that easily comes to mind is Gmail. I know that the staff of Google came up with Gmail, and these are things that you can see that people own the process. And so they are giving the free will. I think Google had this 20% time policy where people have this 20% to do things that they have passion for. And so these kinds of things, when we bring it down to us, allow people the opportunity to be able to tell you or to give what is within them. When people are given that opportunity, they give of their best. They are able to take calculated risk. And so they know that as a leader, I have the opportunity to decide on who takes which course, who takes which program, but then budget allocations, cost implications. So we have you give people the opportunity to be able to own the process and participate, and it gives them the feeling that they are part of it, and so they work to help achieve what we need to achieve. Yeah.
Right. What skills does one need to be registrar? Somebody's watching and saying, Charlie, one day I'll register. You know the funny thing about these conversations? Sometimes somebody's watching, and I interviewed Prof. Bill.
Right.
Puplampo. And the first time I interviewed him, he said he stood at the University of Ghana behind Commonwealth Hall, where we both went, and saw the Vice Chancellor's lodge and said, one day I'll be back.
Wow.
And he became Vice Chancellor 20 years or so from there. Not in that university, but in Central University.
In Central.
So he realized the dream. But that also is the power of envisioning.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking somebody's listening tonight and saying, one day I also will become registrar. One day I also will become a big achiever in my field.
Yes.
What kind of skills will that young woman who's watching you and saying, registrar, does it?
So the kind of skills that one would need would be a blend of a few things: leadership, strategy, financial acumen, to mention a few. I think that when you have the ability to lead teams, you have the ability to be strategic, you have financial acumen, it helps you to be able to, take a certain dive and drive, gives you a certain drive to move your skills into whatever you are empowered or endowed with to work with. What I've realized is that sometimes you don't even know that the skills are there until somebody approached and said, how did you do this? Then, oh, okay, so this was there. Right. So what I have realized is that we must be intentional about the kind of skills we want to build. But what stands out for me are these three things: leadership and team building. Because in a space that I find myself in, there's a vast, constituent. We have students, we have faculty, we have staff to deal with. You must be able to deal with, every constituent at their level to be able to succeed.
When the needs clash, when the needs of two different faculties or two different personnel, you find yourself with one on one side of the spectrum and one on the other side, and it's creating conflict. How do you resolve it?
Okay, so when the needs clash, it can be tricky, but at the same time, it's very easy to handle. Now you look at prioritizing what has to be done. That is not to say that my need is better than my colleague's need, but in the sphere of things, you realize that there are plans, and then there are decisions that need to be made that have certain guidelines. So let me take a typical example of we having somebody wanting to go for a conference and another who needs a projector.
Yeah,
that's very easy to do, because the conference is good. It positions us because of what we want to achieve as an institution. But then the projector is also important because we must teach the students.
which is your core.
Which is our core function. So which one do you do? Because indeed you would have budgeted for both. So which one do you take? It is easy for me to do. I will agree with you. Let's do this. Immediately we are done with this, we'll sort you out. And it works, actually.
If conflict goes overboard and two high performers are giving you palpitations, every time you hear they are clashing, maybe at the same faculty, and they just can't get on.
Yeah.
At what point do you say, We must have a conversation. At what point?
So at the point where it affects performance, at the point where it affects output, we have to engage. And so if two high flyers have a conflict, you engage. You engage and have an understanding of exactly what is happening. When it happens that they are colleagues, you must come, you must sit and, have an understanding on who should let what go. Now, if it's an issue of breach, you should not be afraid to punish. But if it is an issue of personality, conflict, that is where your team skills must come in. Sometimes it's just a personality issue, and the person feels when you were talking to me, you didn't look at me well.
Hey.
Senior people.
Are you tempted to laugh sometimes at the issue?
Yes, I have issues, and sometimes I have a way of, watering down the whole thing. I'll just start making very funny comments, but before we leave, you can be sure that we would have resolved it. There was an instance where two seniors were in my office, one trying to make another feel like, because of your attitude, people don't like you. And this person said it very strongly. And I did not handle it immediately. After we had resolved our issues, my closing remarks was that people may not like you, but I believe that we all offend people. So if we take about 20% of the university to not like you, you should glory in the fact that the other 80 smile with you and are willing to work with you. So if it's true that so many are offended because of how you behave, work on it. So yes, there's always something to deal with. But
what gives you the most fulfillment?
The most fulfillment is to see that I have been able to impact lives, and be it staff, be it students. I want to at least put a smile on somebody's face in a day. That when I came into contact with this woman, I had so much burden, but I have a solution, or whatever she said to me has settled my spirit, and that's what gives me joy, really.
You run a university that's anchored on faith, with values that seek to transform not just the academic aspect of people's lives, but also, faith, integrity. And excellence.
Yes.
Does it place an extra burden on you in heading the administrative setup of the institution like that?
I wouldn't say it places a burden on me. What I would rather say is that it rather resonates something down within my spirit, because I perfectly align with the Central University core values. Faith, I'm unashamedly a Christian. I believe in integrity, and I believe in giving your all for whatever you are doing. So it does not give any burden on me. What it does is that it helps me to be able to also expect others to also give of their best. If there's an issue of integrity, you can be sure I'll be the champion of it. It does not give, any burden. It rather resonates in my spirit and in my, well-being, that this is the way to go and we are heading towards somewhere. And for me, that is one of the things that actually keeps me going, really.
The dance between personal values and corporate values. You say it resonates, and I like the way you see it, almost closing your eyes. It resonates in my spirit.
Yeah.
Can anyone work in Central University? Or in a sense, can everyone work in Central University?
Yes. I would say yes, because we are also big on inclusion. And so anyone can work in Central University. However, if you come and you are not able to abide by our core values, the system itself will push you out. And so we give the opportunity for you to come, but your remaining there will depend on whether you can align or you will not align.
and the critical thing will be the values that govern the institution.
That's right.
Faith, integrity, and excellence.
That's right. That's right.
When you think about the future and opportunity, let's talk about young people. I mean, earlier on we were talking about the fact that you walked into this center and there are young people all over the place working.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on youth and opportunity?
My perspective on youth and opportunity is that it gives me hope that the future is, I want to sound political, is bright.
Right.
Yes, because when I see the kinds of things, as we discussed earlier, the kinds of things that the young people are doing, it blows my mind. And for me to work in Central University, I've been there for 21 years and some months now. And so you can imagine I work with them, I've made friends, and some of them are my mentees. And so I see, the young ones as an opportunity to pour ourselves in them, an opportunity to get them to a certain level that we can be proud of, to say that when these people aligned with us, see what God has done through us with them, because like we discussed earlier, the kinds of things these 18 to 35 years can do, it's amazing.
Big secret,
it's
untapped opportunity.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
When we come back from this break, we'll be tracking Lily's own journey when she walked into Central University as a young person, and how from the accounts office she's risen to become registrar. And if you're a young person watching us and saying, hey, one day me too, I should be on Springboard talking, we'll show you how step by step you can track your journey and climb all the way to the top. And that's a big one coming up. And then for every student starting your journey, this whole conversation is a reminder about opportunity, about possibility, about resilience. Telling yourself, I will get there. And we hope that the conversation around decision making will help you to make some good decisions about your life and about your future. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group, NTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard aimed at supporting 18 to 35-year-old young people, especially young women, to discover opportunities in agriculture, agribusiness, and the AT-based sectors. So when we come back, let's talk. Please don't go away.
Going to the library. Going to the library.
Okay. I'm going for my graduation. Go well.
Education changes stories, and being part of these stories is the real passion for us. MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this conversation about management, about the 10 key roles a manager plays. If you just joined us and have missed the intro, let me say that the manager plays interpersonal roles, informational roles, and decisional roles. Today, we are focusing on some decisions a manager has to make. And my guest, Lily Nutakor, has helped us to understand that while it is normal to sit in strategy and do all the big things about the mission, the vision, the strategy over the next 5 years, all the things, there's also those parts that we tend to take for granted that can bring down. Very often, those are the ones that bring you a lot of headache in the managerial seat. We'll come back to Lily, but just to remind us that this is brought to you by Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group MTN Ghana and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. I am sure that you have followed with great excitement what we did with the Enterprise Spotlight, promoting young businesses. Keep your eye on those 24 young people we put on television and radio and watch their journeys. And we'll be bringing you some exceptional insights into the post-event developments in the lives of these young people. But as part of our commitment to just helping these young businesses do well, today we are throwing the spotlight on Wax Farm, an innovative Ghanaian social enterprise transforming two major environmental challenges into one sustainable solution. So Wax Farm is pioneering a unique approach to tackling soil infertility and plastic pollution by converting plastic waste, guess what, into organic fertilizer using wax worms and biochar. So follow them and reach them on 024 636 3144. Wax Farm 024 636 3144. Please note that Enterprise is now ISO 27001 certified and your data security is guaranteed. Lily, so as part of our commitment to young people, we look for young people doing business and just unashamedly, to borrow your word, just promote them on this show,
Right.
and promote them with our interventions. And we're just tracking some amazing stories of how well they are doing. Let's stay with youth and opportunity and track your journey in Central University.
Okay.
How many years ago? This has been 21 years?
Yes, so I joined Central University in November 2004. So in 2026 November, I'll be 22 years in the university. So that's 21 years and about 7 months.
If you were to describe the journey in one word, what would it be? I like those one-word descriptions.
Yeah. To describe my journey
In one word.
in one word. Awesome.
22 years, and she says it is awesome. What is your experience like? Let's find out. How did it begin?
So it began with applying for a job as an administrative assistant. And I went to the interview. They gave me a desk in the finance office. And I had some experience. I actually attended Central University myself. So I had some experience from the FFL, Foundation for Future Leaders.
Yes, my friend Emmanuel.
Yes, and you and your wife used to come to Central to talk to us about. So some of us, from those experiences, went into the job with a certain fire already. So I got the job and I went there to work. I would get there as early as 6:15. As early, latest 6:15, I'm in the office. Make sure I do my work, I clear my desk, and that has actually stayed with me. I make sure I still clear my desk every day before I go home.
Wow.
Yes, it has stayed with me. And then by the grace of God, hard work and everything, we moved on to a senior assistant, admin assistant. And that also took about 5-6 years. Then I was promoted into the senior member, which is the assistant registrar position. that also brought a shift in work and focus. And then there was another promotion that took me to something we call senior assistant registrar. That also brought a certain shift in the work, though I was in the finance office. So I think about 4 years ago, another promotion came, and that brought me to a deputy registrar level, by which time I was the director of finance. And when the vacancy of the registrar position came, in fact, I was one of the people who did not want to apply. But once you're a deputy registrar, you qualify. So why don't you just apply? So as a Christian, I said, okay, let me go and pray about it and see. So I said, let me go and pray about it and see. So I prayed. I got a release in my spirit. I said, okay, let's apply. We applied. When I left the interview room, I called my husband first. I said, this is the most difficult interview I've ever had.
Don't have mercy on you.
And then he knows I don't like talking plenty. They said, so for 2.5 hours you were talking. I said, I don't even know what I said. But I think I answered. I answered the questions. I said, well, you prayed before you applied. So don't worry too much. Just go back to the office and continue your job. So I went back and, because of the kind of office it is, it must go through council for approval. And the committee members, everybody is quiet. Nobody's saying anything. So we still waited. And for me, I don't know about the others, but for me, I didn't stop praying. It's like, God, once I've gone for this interview, God, you have to do something. So before, I think somewhere 23rd or 21st March or so, they went for council. Then my phone started buzzing.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. I said, God, thank you. But it is not something that you play with. It comes with a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights. I recall a friend in church said, oh, Mr. Nutakor, let's do a party. I said, no, register job with a party. No, it's a lot of work. We are having no such thing. If you want to celebrate, go on your knees and start praying for me. That's the only celebration I want, because there's a lot of work. And but God has been good. It's been almost 2 years, and through us, God, there's been a serious shift.
You've broached 3 subjects on your journey. One of them is the earlier discipline you inculcated, and you smiled and said, these conversations that we used to have, come to FFLI, come to these programs and come and talk about punctuality, attitude. You say your first day at the desk, you came with it already.
Yes.
And then you've spoken about patience. I mean, in a world where people do 2 years in a place and they're on the move, you've done 22, 21 at the same location. That speaks to patience and resilience. Then you talked about mentorship. So I'm going to put the 3 in a box. I probably will broach all 3, but which one should I start with? I'll give you the chance. Which one should I?
You got anyone.
No, you vote.
Okay, so
which one should I start with?
mentorship.
Mentorship.
Yeah.
What do you think mentorship does in the career development pathway?
I think mentorship plays a major role in one's career trajectory, because if you are willing to be mentored, you will get it. Because there are people that you correct them and they are offended. But if the mentor is willing to pour he or herself into you, but you are not willing to receive, nothing really happens. So I think that for people who have been, I call something good mentees. People who have been good mentees, you are able to tell, because they are humble enough to learn and to be teachable. So I think that I have been, a serious advocate for mentorship for some time now. There are lots of young ladies around me that I try to pour myself into them. But within the group, sometimes you realize that there are people who are not willing and are not ready to accept what you want to, help them do, because really you, the mentor, cannot force anything on the mentee. It is for the person to say, I am willing to walk this path with you. So yes, for career, mentorship is top notch.
Interestingly, and the mentor's approach is not always as, like you described with Mr. Njubesiako, it's not always as pleasurable as the mentee would like. I look at Elijah and Elisha, and I'm like, Charlie, he didn't consider the guy small crowd. It was quite tough. But I read something by Professor Linda Hill of Harvard Business Review that suggested that the day the mentee tries to dictate the style, the pace, the approach to the mentoring relationship, the relationship is dead on arrival. Do you share that perception?
Absolutely. So you see my example with my former boss that I spoke to. There were about 20 of us in the directorate. And as I said, I'm the only one he will do that to, because he knows that when he does it, me, I won't complain. And the next time I'm with him, say, this thing that you did, are you sure you had to do that? I say, yes, so that you will learn. Tomorrow you will learn. And then I will go back. So I think that if we want to, if a mentee really wants to accept what is coming, it will work out. However, if you want to dictate, don't give me this query, don't shout at me. No, I know what I'm about. So you wait. When I need you, I'll come. It will not work out. So I do share, that assertion. Yes.
Let me go to patience. It's a natural follow through from the question about mentorship. So there are two schools of thought, and I'm a football person.
Okay.
So I track my management theories sometimes through sports, and I sometimes talk about the Ibrahimovic or Ronaldo model, that they've changed clubs every 2 years. It changes from United to Real Madrid to Juventus, and then to Al Nassr, and then he moves his career upwards. Then I talk about the Steven Gerrard model, where the person stays in one club, or Ryan Giggs in one club and achieves a lot in one club. You seem to be of the longevity school of thought.
Yeah.
But let's using both. I think the critical thing is not even whether you did it in multiple organizations or one organization. I think the big thing for me is that patience to work your way from, if I may use the words advisedly, the bottom to the top. Help us to discover the role of patience.
So the role of patience, but Rev, I have to say that along the line, I actually wanted to leave.
That's beautiful to hear. It's real.
It's real. Along the line, I think that should be about 10 years ago. I wanted to leave. Actually found a job. And then our former HR director said, Adjoa, you have a future in Central University. Where are you going? I'm going to call Nutakor. That's my husband. I'm going to call Nutakor to convince you not to leave. Where are you going?
Wow.
So he's an elderly man. So I went back to my office. I cried because I respect him. And I was like, why did I even tell this man I was going? I should have just put in my resignation. Let me call. But now I can't even say that I'm going. The way he's speaking, if I go and something goes wrong, I can't come back to Central. So I went home, and true to his word, he actually had called my husband.
Serious?
Yes. So that it's a friend of a friend you. Now I didn't know what's up.
Did you feel like he had blackmailed you?
Yes. I said, but I think the money is good. And the money was good, really. The money was good. It was a job in Botswana. The money was good. The conditions were good. It was better than what I was getting, obviously. And I said, but the money said, well, some of the things he said is sometimes it's not all about the money. So now he was kind of convinced about.
They got you.
He got me, so I had to stay. But the patience part, on hindsight, I'm not. It is now that I'm even realizing the patience thing. It was somebody who just wanted to work. The environment I find myself, not an environment that I haven't had problems. I have had problems, real problems with some people. But I felt like once I come to work, what I'm able to do, my contribution to the university is so significant. I want to push. I want to do more. I'm always learning. I want to improve. I want to do more to make my boss feel that he has a good team. And I think that is what kept on pushing me to achieve. But indeed, 21 years, that's really something.
It is. It is.
That's really something,
So teamwork, you mentioned teamwork. How big is teamwork in this conversation?
Teamwork is everything. It's something that we cannot overlook. You can have a good team, and if there isn't that understanding, you are not aligning to your vision and strategic goals, things will go haywire. Now, teamwork in my unit where I came from to registry was one big thing. In finance office, we are together because your final work is my source documents. And so we work in a very, good relationship, good team that I can almost offload my issues and I know I am safe with it. And so in that particular directorate, we had a very wonderful, team that was closely knit together. And so we achieved a lot. We achieved so much.
When it comes to the final one, which we mentioned, which is about the soft skills, those core values that you build, personal values you built from the earlier interactions. I would come to that, but let me stay with organizational dynamic and talk about delegation. And the ultimate delegation. How do you delegate? How do you even share the philosophy of the university to go all the way down to the last person? How do you ensure that as you pass on the baton from person to person, the intensity, the quality does not drop?
All right. So for us as Central strategy pillars, we are working towards. And so from time to time, we have these deans and directors meeting we have that we communicate amongst ourselves, the strategic pillars, our KPIs, our agenda, how we are going to get it done. Now, communicating to the others. I always tell people that for universities thrive on committees. And so we have people in teams that work together. We ensure that whatever we want to achieve is appropriately communicated. And so I am on the Mutual campus. Let me use, for instance, Christ Temple. We have the Christ Temple campus. We have a campus director there. Whatever we want to achieve there is communicated to the director. It is expected, and it is actually happening, that the director now calls her team and then give the information as it's supposed to be. That is not without problems, as we know. Once the information is coming from the top, sometimes it filters. And so what we do is that we always come back for review. We were supposed to achieve A, B, C, D. Where are we? What has been done? Who is handling what? And so, yes, we are able to track and then get results as we should. But sometimes, like you in your question you asked, sometimes we, a few things are lost. And I guess that is what makes, the institution a human institution. But we try to get, to drag people along. Especially there are some people that they seem not to know anything that's happening in the institution. And those people, you must be deliberate to drag them along.
Wow. When the numbers, the outcomes are shifting, you start with the projection. You say, yeah, this year we are bringing on 2,800, 3,000 freshmen to come and add to the numbers. And the admission numbers are not going. And it's 2 weeks to the deadline. What happens? just curious.
Okay, so
take us into the engine room. I want to understand the engine room of a university. When the numbers are not coming, deadlines are coming. Do you call midnight meetings and things like that? What do you do?
Okay, so when I can use typically this academic year. I think about 3 weeks to matriculation, we didn't have our numbers. We had several meetings. My team and I, several meetings on what's happening. We meet with the admissions team. We have a student recruitment team.
And the hot, and the meeting's hot.
Very, very hot. And, those are the meetings that somebody's trying to blame somebody. But when we get there, I tell them, it's not about blame game. Let's make sure that you're giving me my target. And so we sit down, discuss. You people take this action. Now, admissions. Do you need more hands? Why are some of the letters not out? I'm told that some people, so we start bringing on more people to help with the work. And by the time the 3 weeks was up, we had actually crossed, our targets for the year. And it was amazing. I mean, one person called and said, "Madam, are you happy now? We've been able to." I said, "God bless you all, Madam, but the pressure you gave."
You said next.
And I said, as for the pressure, it can't come down. So we had also had a meeting at management, and then we said, "Oh, Registrar, I think we should look at these numbers at this time." So I communicated the number. I said, you better be ready because next year, these are our targets. I said, "Hey, I thought we were just going to get some thumbs up." I said, "But we are not sleeping." So it can be intense. It can be intense, and sad to say, I am the kind of boss that will send you a message at 2 a.m.
Thank you.
Once I check the figures, so what's happening? You have to sit up. I'll be sending you a message at 3 a.m. And, we don't compromise on that. It can be intense. It can be really intense. Yes.
So I know you don't show it out in public, but let me go to the matriculation day. When you wear your capi and they are looking at the students and you see, these people, they were trying to show me, but they came. How does it feel internally?
Internally, usually that is where my Christian instincts kicks in. So when I see the numbers, it is usually, God, you did that.
Wow.
Usually, God, you did that. I can see you in that process. Thank you. Usually, before I go to, wow, this team, because I know that the source has been God. I remember the year when I became registrar, I called the SRO and said, "Master, I'm not seeing your efforts. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm taking this thing from you." I said it physically to him. "I'm taking this from you and I'm putting it in the hands of God." I said, "Wow. Registrar, thank you."
Wow.
Thank you. And the numbers. So when I see it, it is not about, wow, we did this. No, God did.
Faith is big in what you do.
Yes. Faith is big for me. Faith is big for me.
And thankfully, you work in an institution that allows you to express your faith without any reservation.
Yes.
Do you feel that you're in the right place?
I feel I'm in the right place at this time. When I was telling my story, I said that I prayed and I actually heard from God. So I know that I'm in the right place at this time. Yes.
Very philosophical. and you will keep praying.
Amen. Yeah, definitely.
Let me broach two more subjects: student relations, and then I would end up on the foundational values that we talked about earlier.
Mm.
Do you find it challenging trying to communicate to students the value, the quality of things that because students, as students, always want more. But you find that sometimes it's a challenge to get them to know all that has been put in for their comfort, for the facilities, the accommodation. Do you find that communicating value to them is a challenge?
I would say yes, and again no, because sometimes you feel you have sent the communication out as it should, and you are surprised that they are claiming they don't have the information. And so I think we were in the news recently, somewhere last year, about some issues the students were not happy about, and I quickly called them and said, "Who put this online? We need to talk to the person." I engaged the students, and it was a school. We have about 9 schools. It was a school election. But school election, the way it came out, it was like Central University is collapsing. So she explains to me, and then I talked to SRC and said, SRC, you have to communicate with your students. Apparently, the lady says it's this. Please go into the school and find out what is happening. So it's difficult sometimes getting, the kind of information. But with the new VC we have, he has, come up with something that's amazing, that is really working for all of us. And I can say that I have a lot of peace now. Professor Dateba believes in engaging the students.
We talk about stakeholder engagement.
Stakeholder engagement. So as soon as the SRC election happened, even before inauguration happened, we invited them, had a meeting with them. They told us their problems. We told them what we'll do to support. After inauguration, there's orientation. VC himself is there. I am there. ProVC is there. Others are there.
So the hands-on approach
is a hands-on approach, and is working very, very well. So that's why I said it's both, yes and no, because now we have cracked it. And I'll say that because engaging with them gives us a clearer picture. Apart from engaging with the student executive members, the VC has been deliberate about engaging students themselves.
I saw online a picture of his student engagement.
Yes, so he's done
open house, just firing.
And you can imagine,
by his persona, he's that kind of person. He
exactly,
just wants to be in there with
exactly.
him.
So it was done at Miocho. We went to Kumasi, we had it, and then at Christ Temple. And students, we gave them the opportunity, and some of them, gave us some, but others too really dealt with that. But it was good because, as I said, it gives us a very clear picture of what we are dealing with. And out of these engagements have been very visible, decisions and actions that helps both students and management. Because now we know that they're comfortable, or our actions are going to make them comfortable, because we were overlooking those, not thinking that this is something they don't like. And it has really helped. And I must say that I'm surprised I'm saying this here, but I've told VC that I thank God for him, and I'm very happy about that thing that we're doing.
Stakeholder engagement is huge.
It's huge.
I read a story about stakeholder engagement that I think is a perfect fit for this. And it's about how we sometimes assume that we've got it figured out. We know what students need. We know what everybody needs.
Exactly.
And then we just launch it. So this developmental agency went to a rural community and said to them, you shouldn't be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
There's fertile land here. There's a water body here. Everything is here. You can plant anything and it will grow. And the boys just smiled at them. They didn't ask them questions. They were lecturing them. Then he said, for instance, take watermelons. This will be great. It was in East Africa. It will be great here. They said, oh, really? The guy said, you know what? Just give us a couple of months. So they planted, they cleared the land and planted the watermelons. And the villagers were smiling. They didn't see anything. Then they would take pictures and say, can you see? Then they smile again. A week to the harvest, they did a big derby and showed them how the watermelons had grown everything was fine. That night, rhinos came out of the river and consumed all the watermelons, went back into the river, and the villagers just smiled. They always knew.
They always knew they'll come.
They always knew that rhinos would come. That's why they're not planting watermelons.
Yes.
So you think they are ignorant.
Exactly.
It's just a lesson in how, if we choose to listen, we really can find out so much about the people that we serve. And that was just one for the road. Exactly. Tell me, why should I come to Central University? Why should anyone listening consider Central University? This is your moment. Tell us, why should you come?
You should come to Central University because of the kinds of programs we're running. Industry-ready programs, our architecture programs, pharmacy, nursing and midwifery. When it comes to graduate programs, the DBA program that was started this year has, programs that will engage you, programs that will let you question, the narratives that we felt, oh, this is it. But for Central, we are ready to take you on a ride that will transform your life. At Central University, we, as I've been saying, we currently believe in engaging with our students. We believe in the student experience. One of our strategic pillars talks about student experience. We are big on student experience, ensuring that our students' needs are catered for. We are ensuring that our students, life on campus is comfortable for students. And the kind of faculty and the programming we have is top-notch. Our lecturers are industry people that we can actually rely on. Yes.
Shout out to the entire DBA class. Shout out to all the amazing people in the DBA class. I'm sure you're listening to say, Charlie, mention some dialectical reasoning or something like that. I won't. I won't.
No, oncology.
The epistemology. We just greet you. All the people in the DBA class of 2025, we greet you and wish you the very best as you listen to this program. Doc, you started this conversation somewhere in the midway point with a reflection on little values that you gained on your journey that may not have sounded powerful at the time, but you internalized. And at your first day at the desk, you said to yourself, 6:30 I'm at work, or 6:15 I'm at work. I do this, I do that, I clear my desk. How important, and just to close, look into this camera and tell the young person listening how important these seminars, these non-academic values, principles, ethics are in your career formation. I want to close with that one.
All right. So for me, those little values that we refer to as non-academic are the ones that has driven what I do and what I have done. And it is one of the things you gain when you come to Central University. Because as a student of Central University, that is when these institutions came to teach us, including investment. And these are things that inform what you do. Recently, I had an engagement with a group of students, and I told them that what we are currently doing, you will not get it in your Econs 101 class. But in these kinds of seminars and conferences, that is where you learn the real values of life. And that is what will take you to the level you must be when you are out of school. So we are waiting for you at Central University. Join us.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ren.
If you just joined us, this has been a conversation about the leader as a decision maker. My guest for the hour has been Mrs. Lily Nutakor. She is the Registrar of Central University, the first alumna to be a registrar and the first female registrar of the Central University, walking us through, in part, what kinds of decisions a leader has to make, and then being gracious enough to use her life to show us little decisions she made at every point. She spoke about mentorship, she spoke about patience and resilience, And she spoke about soft skills and how they positioned her right from day one to become who she is today. If the story has inspired you, let's continue this conversation on social media. What is it that it takes to project somebody from the beginning desk to the very top of the organization? Let's have that conversation on social media. Share your thoughts, share your perspectives, share your learnings from this conversation. And a big thank you, Lily, for making time to be here. Let's do this again.
My pleasure.
Right.
Thank you very much
so
for having me. Yes.
This has been brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group, NTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, we want to thank Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the Springboard channel on YouTube, and the Graphic Communications Group. My name is Albert Ocran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.